What's up, sports fans? It's your man D back. Speak your mind, sports talk. All right, check it out, man. We talking Jermell Charlo, Tank Davis, PBC Story. So I don't know if you guys read the description, but I want to talk about these two guys specifically today. Jermell Charlo and Tank Davis. Initially because I was a fan of both of these guys. I used to be a fan of Tank, the Charlos, Spence, and more PBC fighters that currently I'm not really fans of those guys today. But these two guys in particular, I wanted to talk about Tank Davis and Jermell Charlo because at one point in time, you see these guys, they were all in a circle. Charlo, Broner, Spence, Tank, these guys used to hang around, party together, do the same ignorant shit and so forth. And here recently, even with the twins, you see these guys taking different paths. They all started off on the same path. They were all on the same foolery at one point, which is why, I'm not a fan of Tank Davis anymore. Not going to support the foolery. I'm not a fan of Jermell Charlo anymore. But Jermell Charlo is back on my good graces, whereas Tank, not so much, And so I'm a fan of Jermell Charlo. He's showing me that he's turned things around, but Tank, not so much. But what's significant with both of these guys is that they're both PBC. It's a PBC story, right? Because there is a narrative as well about PBC fighters from people who don't particularly care for the PBC, don't like the PBC, Premier Boxing Champions for whatever reason. There is a particular narrative about the guys that fight for the PBC. And I think at this day and time, Jermell Charlo needs to be separated from that narrative, whereas Tank Davis is still right in line with the same foolery. And that's one of the things I wanted to talk about concerning these two guys, right? I like what I see in Jermell Charlo right now. And I don't like what I see in Tank Davis right now. Just that simple. But since we've had this pandemic and fights have become scarce and money's going down, it appears to me that these fighters are starting to understand now, because of the atmosphere of boxing, that they're running out of choices to not fight the better guys. It's come to the time now. See, we talked about this in the sport of boxing amongst each other on plenty of these lives, what needs to happen, right? And one of the main things we talked about concerning what needed to happen to change our sport for the better is the money. Because money has been an issue. These guys have been able to capture this money without doing very much. But because of the pandemic, that's changing things. And if these guys wish to continue to make money, they're going to have to get with the program. And the program is not fighting nobody fights anymore. They're going to have to start stepping it up. But the thing with Jermell Charlo versus a Tank Davis is, prior to the pandemic, Jermell Charlo started to step it up. Jermell Charlo started to do the right things. Prior to the pandemic, Tank Davis was still on the same foolery. After the pandemic, Tank Davis was still on the same foolery. And as I see it right now, getting into a fight with Leo Santa Cruz, Tank Davis is currently still on the same foolery. And I can't back that. What's up, Brian?
Yo, what up, D?
What's good with you?
No. Sorry about the noise here. My whole family's here.
Good. You good, bro. You did the right thing. Like, some people don't get it. If you got noise, just be on mute till it's time to talk. That's cool. Good shit. Let me holler out some people in the chat. My man, Johnny Boy. Fight Palace first in the building. What's good, Johnny Boy? He said, Bucks need that win tonight, homie. Indeed. And I'm doing the prediction show a little later, the NBA predictions and odds a little bit later. But we're going to talk about that. Make sure you come see me, Johnny Boy. Team Bad Intentions in the building. What's up? Good morning to you, my bro. Scott Brown, smart, caught fire from the fourth. Astros. Yeah, Scott. Well, what about them damn White Sox, Scott? Yeah, Scott. Remember I put those White Sox in that parlay, Scott. Those White Sox killed my ticket, Scott. Nah, it don't matter. That's the thing with those parlays, Scott. You know, got to get every one of them right. So risky business there, but good call on the Astros. Iceman in the building. That would be some good fights if we could get them, D, for sure. And we're going to talk about that today, Iceman. That's what we're going to talk about. Brian, what's up, Brian? St. Britt in the building. What's good? Boxing Monster. What's good with you, Boxing Monster, my man? Day one. First one, Boxing Monster, and that's why he has immunity. And if you don't like it, tough shit. You don't gotta like it. Iceman said both them Charlos cried too. Yeah, Jermell cried, bro. You could say that. And Iceman, I don't know if you were around when I put the video up about that, right? It was called the Charlo twins, the liar and the crier. Okay. I flamed Jermell Charlo for that. And I actually won't ride with Jermell and all of that talk. But look at what Jermell's done since then. He came back, took his belt back. Look at who he's challenging. Unification. Look who's he challenging. And Jermell talked about this. Well, hold on before I get into that. Because that's part of the discussion today. Buddy Aces, MXBC in the building. What's up? Shout out to MXBC J4B. What's up, buddy Aces? Chin Smoke in the building. What's good, Chin Smoke? Sporting Advantage. My man Sporting Advantage. Samuel Snack Sanchez. Shaw in the building. What's up, Samuel? Scott said, I had a bad night last night. White Sox and Astros blew late leads. Nice call on the Nuggets. Yes, sir, man. NBA odds and predictions. Y'all come see me. I told you the Nuggets was going to pull it off. Got really shaky there at the end. I did commentary on that game last night. Sporting Advantage was in the house. Man, that was a good game. No doubt, no doubt. Alcedes Fuentes in the building. What's good with you, my man? Appreciate you coming through. All right, guys, let's get back into it. Tank Davis, Sugar Tank Davis, Stank Davis, as I like to call him. Tank Davis and Jermell Charlo. So let me drop this link back in the chat real quick, Brian. Just in case somebody else want to jump up on here with us. All right, so let's talk about Tank Davis. So the little guy has a problem staying in shape in between fights, staying in the ring, staying dedicated and such.
Yep.
And so he has to move up to 135 because basically he just can't cut the mustard at 130, right? And then so he moves up to 135, and his debut fight at 135 is against Yuriorkis Gamboa. Now, when we look at Yuriorkis Gamboa, he has somewhat of a career, don't get me wrong, but he's old now when he's stepping in the ring with Tank. Not only is Yuriorkis Gamboa old, Tank possesses punch power, and Yuriorkis Gamboa doesn't have a chin. So he's a chinny old fighter on his way out the door. And this is Tank Davis's debut at 135, which is absolutely ridiculous to a two-time champ and every other accolade that they give this guy. He shouldn't be fighting the Yuriorkis Gamboa. He should have sought tougher competition. But historically, concerning Tank Davis, tougher competition is not in his forte. So, with that being said, he struggles in this fight with Yuriorkis Gamboa. It takes him all the way to the 12th round to put a chinny fighter out of there. Okay? And then Tank Davis bless us with his next fight, which is going back down to the weight that he struggled at to fight a Leo Santa Cruz. Pure foolishness with this Tank Davis situation. Now, here's where things get interesting, and why I decided to talk about Tank Davis and Charlo. Here lately, Ryan Garcia, who's also here recently won himself back into my good graces. Ryan Garcia said after this fight with Luke Campbell, should he be successful? And he's focused on this fight with Luke Campbell, and he did say, should he be successful? He has two opponents in mind. Nobody else. One of those opponents was Gervonta Tank Davis. As a matter of fact, young Ryan said that this opponent was somewhat a priority for him, Ryan Tank Davis. And then, of course, what he's fighting Luke Campbell for, a shot at Devin Haney. But Ryan seems to be more interested in taking out Tank Davis before he gets to Devin Haney. Now, when it comes to Ryan Garcia and the fuss that he put up to fight Luke Campbell instead of the easier route, which he could have taken, the WBO route, Ryan told Oscar De La Hoya and his team, no. We're not going to do this. I want to achieve greatness. I'm going to go the Luke Campbell route. I know it's a tougher fight. I know you guys don't really have the faith in me. And I know Ryan felt that way because he put a post up about it. He says, my team and my promotional company don't really believe in me as much as they should. They don't have the faith in me, but I want Luke Campbell. That's what I like in these young fighters. And after that, I want Gervonta Tank Davis. Now, when it comes to what Ryan's been bitching about and what he actually pushed for the Luke Campbell fight, I tend to believe that Ryan Garcia wants a shot at Tank Davis. Will this fight happen? We don't know. I have very serious doubts because of old wide-nosed Ellaby and Floyd Mayweather. I don't think they want to put Tank Davis into any type of competitive fight. But with that being said, I still have faith that the young Ryan Garcia would like to pursue that. Here recently, guys, which is why Tank Davis is significant, you can go to BoxRec, and Tank Davis just did an interview and he spoke on BoxRec. And Tank Davis says that, after this fight with Leo Santa Cruz, he also has demanded, right? He's demanded. So this is what Tank says. He's demanded to Wide Nose Ellaby that he pursues the likes of Ryan Garcia, Vasil Lomachenko, and Devin Haney to square off against him. Now, I don't have as much faith in what Tank Davis says because historically, Tank Davis, Wide Nose Ellaby, and Floyd Mayweather, they've said a lot of things to us and they've done none of it. But it does become interesting because it appears to me here lately that Tank Davis is seemingly starting to take a different route. I don't have much faith in it, but he's been in the gym. He's pretty much in shape. He's been active in exercising, working the mitts. It seems that he has a little more dedication. Could it be jealousy reared from Floyd Mayweather in the Haney situation? I'm not sure. But I'm interested now in Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia. Shout out to my man Unrivaled Boxing Talking News. What's up? What's up, Mark?
Yo, what's happening? What's happening? Yeah, man. I read the same article over on Boxing Scene, right? By what's his name? Akapion, Manuk Akapion wrote that article, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Hey, if he wants Ryan Garcia, Loma, whatever after Santa Cruz, go get it. He said Haney is clout. Okay.
Right.
So, best of luck to him. I don't know if that's 100% or anything like that, or if that's just, he's talking about the word clout. It's not like Tank Davis hasn't done this before, where he said he wants certain fights. And I remember he said after his fight with Gamboa, he was going to move up to 140 and fight Josh Taylor, and now he's gone down to 130. So that's a direct contradiction. Not that I'm saying I wanted him to fight Josh Taylor. I thought that was crazy and clout chasing. Yeah, go ahead, D. You can read that.
Oh yeah, I was going to get to it. I just didn't want to cut you off. Buddy Ace is my man, MXBC. No sir. See, this for me, and I'll read it to everyone. At first, when Tank versus Leo was made, I thought Tank is a weight bully. But now I'm thinking he's probably challenging himself by going down to 130 and to prove he's disciplined to make this weight. Okay. So to me, and our buddy Aces, and no disrespect to you, fam, I'm not giving Tank any benefit of the doubt of going down to 135 to fight Leo Santa Cruz. I'm not giving him any benefit of the doubt of now he's trying to challenge himself and prove he can make weight. No, F that. If you want to prove, if you want to turn it around, if you want to show us something, don't mess around at 130 anymore. Because to be perfectly honest with you, Buddy Aces, when the motherfucker was at 130, I didn't think he needed to be at 130. So it doesn't impress me at all that he returns to 130. The little fuck needs to fight at 135 and prove there. That's what I feel about that comment. I'm not giving Tank the remote piece of benefit of doubt concerning him going down to fight Leo Santa Cruz. I think it's an absolutely worthless fight. I will not order it. I will not watch it live anyway. I'll watch the replay the next day because I simply do not give a shit about that fight. I have no intrigue and there's no suspense in this fight for me. And I don't give a shit what anybody think about this weight draining or anything. Tank is going to beat the shit out of Leo Santa Cruz. No question in my mind. And when it's a fight like that where there's no question in my mind who's going to win, I have no interest in it. And that's how I feel about Tank Davis versus Leo Santa Cruz at 130. The only thing that I wish to see Tank do, if he wants to convince me that he's turning around, is to fight and prove himself at 135. And these fights that he's talking about now, Ryan Garcia, Vasil Lomachenko, and even Devin Haney clout chasing, fine, call it what you want. Get your little ass into those fights, and now we're talking business.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't mind if he were to stick around at 130, if he were to fight Burchelt and Herring and all those boys. I wouldn't. No, it's straightforward. I wouldn't mind it. Because, in all honesty, I don't think he's, like, cut out for 135. I've never thought he'd be cut out for 135. I think he's too small. The power goes away. And that's the truth. I'd like to see him at 130. I think that's his prime weight. If he can make it healthily, I do think that's his best weight. I've always thought that. So him against Miguel Burchelt and shit like that to me would also help prove you. I mean, fighting Devin Haney isn't going to prove you more than fighting Miguel Burchelt. Miguel Burchelt's far more proven than Devin. He's far more proven than Ryan.
Not far more proven than Lomachenko. And that was
he's not far more proven than Loma, but Loma's prime weight is also 130. So, I mean,
that's fine. And they both would be out of their element at 135. If that's the case, both Tank and Loma will be out of their element at 135.
No, okay, that's cool. But, like, for me, he doesn't have to be at 135 to prove that he can fight or prove that he's a very good fighter or prove that or even achieve a great resume. He doesn't have to be up there. He can be at 130 or 135. There's players in both divisions. There's good fighters. There is very good fighters at 130. Leo's one of them, but Leo's better at 126, 122. Let's be real. Burchelt, Herring, those two guys, if he went and fought them and unified with them and beat them two, then we'd be talking like he has to then go, like 1,000,000% go up to 135 then. But like going up and off the Gamboa thing and people like, oh, fight Loma. And all that comes from Tank calling Loma out his whole career. Like most of us have a good idea and Loma and all that he'd outbox Tank. We have that idea. We know that. We really do know that. That one shot thing ain't going to work. He doesn't even have a hand speed advantage. He's not got the same level of hand speed as TFE have. He don't. And he's smaller. He should should have faster hands, but he doesn't. So it is what it is. I mean, if his next fight after this is up at 135 and he fights Ryan Garcia, am I going to give him a lot of credit? Not really. No, that's if Ryan Garcia can beat Luke Campbell, yes.
That's what would be happening, though. That's the scenario that he gets past Luke. That's what I explained. That would be the scenario.
But like for me, I just like to see him fight against somebody solid. If he's at 135, I mean, I'd give him credit if he fought Comey. I would. I'd give him credit if he fought Luke. I'd give him credit if he fought Ryan, Devin. There's a lot of guys there. Even what's his name? Javier Fortuna.
Fortuna, yeah.
I would say if he were to be Fortuna, that'd be his best win in his entire career.
Is it Delorme? Where's Delorme at?
Delorme's He's 147. He just fought Jamal James at welter.
Mm.
Yeah, he ain't that's like a 4-weight leap.
Wow.
Delorme ain't big, man. I mean, but if he were to fight any of those guys, I mean, Rancis has a fight this weekend. I know nobody wants to see him versus Rancis. No one likes Rancis. No one likes Rancis anymore. Rancis has fucking bored us to death too many times. But Rancis, skill-wise, genuinely skill-wise, him or Pedraza would be his best win. Like, because Gamboa was shot. So Rancis would be one of his 2 best wins. You'd have to pick between him and Pedraza. So, I mean, his resume ain't that good when you're looking at Rancis Barthélemy. Could be your best win on paper. So, I mean, I'm cool with whatever he does once it's against top 8 level opposition, top 8 and above. But if it's at 130, champions only. If it's at 135, it has to be top 8. Nothing less will do.
All right. So, with that being said, I respect the perspective that you're coming from. But again, the scenario is that Ryan Garcia gets through Luke Campbell. Then he becomes, in my opinion, more valid than a lot of those other guys you mentioned. Because he's validated himself at 135. Yeah. And another thing about him going back down, where I'm not really accepting it, is that, dude, you're 25 years old, and you already had the time to do that. You had the time to do that, and you fucked around the whole time. This is exactly what he did. You had the time to do this, and you fucked around the whole time. I really don't want to hear anything about 130. That's just where I am with it. You're 25. You're being talked about with these 20 and 22-year-old guys, but you're not that. You've been around much longer. No more process, no more holding his hand. Fucking get in there and either win or lose, because that's what this sport is about. Win or lose. So I don't give a fuck about all of these goddamn, excuses. Here's the point. If he does go down there and beat Jermell Herring, and then he does go down there and beat Burchell, of course, like you said, the expectation is for him to return to 135. Fuck wasting that time. You should have been done that. Let those guys do what they do and prove now at 135, because he does have the capability to prove at 135, but under the PBC moniker, that O must not go. Fuck the O. Challenge yourself. That's where I am, bro. I'm tired of the foolishness he's put us through for all of these years. So I don't want to see him go back down to 135. You protected that O for all of these years. Fuck the O. Challenge yourself. That's why.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
If he fought Burchell, would that do? Now I know you don't want to see him at 130.
That would be good.
But would that be like the one person, him or Herring? Would they be the two people he could fight? That'd be it. That'd be the only one.
I would have zero problem with that. Zero problem with it.
But that's what I was saying. At 130, like, I'm not, maybe JoJo, but I would be like, nah. I'd rather see it be one of the
JoJo need a little more work. JoJo.
Yeah. But the other two guys, Herring, just because of how long he is and how tall he is, and Burchell, because he legitimately could knock Tank's head off. He legitimately could knock his head off. Those two are challenging. Then for me, like, it's just, I'm cool with any of the top guys up there at lightweight. Because lightweight, like, there's a lot of guys you can pull out. I'm not looking for him to fight fucking Pedraza coming down or whatever. I'm just cool with anywhere from Loma to Tio to Comey to Ryan to Devin to all those guys, all those guys.
Okay. I'm going to say this. I agree with Burchell. I agree with Herring at 130. That ain't the fucking fights this fool taking right now. You see what I mean? Like, if that was the next fight, after this worthless fight with Gamboa, if the next fight at 130 was Burchell or Herring, I wouldn't say shit. But a Leo Santa Cruz moving up in weight, and then I'm supposed to sit back and hope that he fights Burchell or Herring next? Bullshit. Because this is what he's continuously done to us. Fight a guy moving up in weight, and they say, okay, well, now he'll challenge himself. And then what happens? So the fact of the matter is, I'm not dealing with the bullshit at 130. I don't want to fucking hear it, man. Because this is what they do. This is what they've been doing. He'll fight one of these fights that appears to be a marquee fight, which is they're building this bullshit Leo Santa Cruz up as that. So they built this illusion up, and then he doesn't do a fucking thing after that. And I'm supposed to sit here and lay my hat on that bullshit? No, sir. Do it at 135. I'm not trying to fucking entertain this bullshit. Okay. Not even the slightest. Okay. Because this is what they've been doing with Tank.
Yeah. Okay. I think if Ryan Garcia beats Luke Campbell, I can see him moving up to 140. Maybe not right away, but I don't think 135. You know, I think he's outgrown the weight.
No, Ryan. That's actually no, not with Brian. Ryan's got time, and he's trying to achieve here. He's in no rush. Teofimo's in the rush to move up. Look at the size difference between those kids. Ryan's not in no rush. He just beefed up, Brian. He just beefed up Ryan Garcia. So he ain't in no rush. Look, like I said to start this off, I'm comfortable with Ryan pursuing Tank. It's the other side I'm worried about. Yeah. Because now you even have, just look at Mark's idea, right? Now, Tank Davis says this shit, right? But you do have fans such as Unrivaled. As I said, I respect his perspective, but you do have this element. Fans out there saying, well, yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Burchell or Herring that. Here starts the foolery. So we put on this bullshit marquee fight with Leo Santa Cruz. Tank Davis calls out Lomachenko, Ryan Garcia, and Devin Haney at 135. And now we fuck around at 130 again. With any idea of whether we'll even get Burchell or Herring. This is the same scenario they're leading us right back down into. But I ain't falling for it. Fuck that. I don't want to hear shit about 130. You do this bullshit with Leo Santa Cruz and leave it alone. Let's see you live up to what the fuck you talking about. Because just like I said, Ryan Garcia, I think he will pursue this fight after Luke Campbell. Now, after this bullshit Leo Santa Cruz fight, since you're talking about that, don't take us back into this circus at 130. Let's see if you and your side lives up to pursuing Ryan Garcia. Because if both of you guys are talking this way, we should see the motherfucking fight. And if Ryan Garcia should pass Luke Campbell, he becomes valid. Validation. And I don't want to hear anything else. It will be a struggle for Tank because what does Ryan Garcia bring to the table? Speed and dimensions. This is the challenge we want to see. It's a taller fighter, a longer fighter, and speed equivalent. Let's see Tank challenge himself. I don't want to see the circus at 130. No, sir. You won't lead me back down that line. No, sir.
I agree with that. I think what I'm saying is I think I could see Ryan moving up, not right away, but eventually moving up to 140. I think
he'll go up eventually, but
he's still growing.
He'll go up eventually, Ryan, but that has no disrespect, but that don't have a fucking thing to do with this Tank situation because he got plenty of time to get in there with Tank, and Tank ain't going to no 140. That little fucker ain't built for 140. Just like Mark said, he barely built for 135. Could you imagine him in there with a Josh Taylor or a Regis Prograis? They'll beat the shit out of Tank Davis. So he ain't built. So he ain't moving up to 140. This fight at 135 is in the future, and it's plenty of time. No problems.
And I was on about Ryan Garcia moving up eventually. But you took my point away because I was going to say by the time Ryan Garcia does move up, right, Tank Davis then will be interested in fighting him, and then that fight will never happen. So you just took that point away from me, D.
I don't, no disrespect, but that's what I do, bro. I cut down all the bullshit in between so we can arrive here. Like fuck all that, and then later down the line, when these freaking groupies and fanboys start speaking about, like, man, I debunked that long time ago. Go watch my live. So I break through all of that bullshit real quick. Let's get through that shit right now before these videos and scenarios and bullshit narratives start arriving. See, I'm breaking into those shits right now. Shut it down right now. You feel me?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I don't see Tank challenging himself anytime soon. I don't think he wants a live opponent. He wants to keep his old. He doesn't want to challenge himself. So
I'm
I
on
don't
the
know.
fence with that, Brian. I ain't even
Yeah,
gonna lie to you, fam. At this
I
point in
don't,
time, that's where I'm on the fence with Tank Davis. Because
yeah,
let's be honest about it. And most of us that are reasonable about the situation, we've laid blame on Ellaby and Floyd. I think that Tank Davis, look, these young guys are influential and what they see and what goes on around them. And I do really believe sincerely that the whole Devin Haney situation sparked something in Tank Davis. Call it what you want, envy, jealousy, whatever. It sparked something in Tank Davis, okay? When you see a guy like Floyd Mayweather, it appears that he's starting to lose faith in you. You see him working with a guy that's not even in your fucking stable. Ryan Garcia's, Devin Haney is himself, plus Eddie Hearn. Not even in your fucking stable. The way Tank Davis look at it, he's over with the enemy. You're taking all of this interest in him. And then you see Tank doing things that we wish he'd have done years ago. This is the things that he's starting to do now. And I'm sincerely feeling like that sparked something in him. But with that being said, we knew all along it was old wide-nosed Ellaby and Floyd setting all of this debacle up. Tank was running his mouth, but we knew it was those guys keeping him out the fight. I think that the discrepancy is starting to rise. I think that Tank understands, look, I'm 25. All of this money that y'all been promising me is not even really available in boxing right now, and I have to do something. I really think that this is, he's not going to be a fool forever.
yeah. Well, I don't think there's a lot of people going to buy that pay-per-view because on that night there's another fight in the UFC, and it's Gaethje Khabib.
Yeah.
They're getting killed. They're getting killed by that. Fucking Tank Davis and Leo Santa, they're going to get killed. I wouldn't be surprised to see it rescheduled.
There's very few people in boxing that will be able to compete with Khabib versus Gaethje. And I'll be honest, in America, only Canelo, and he'd need a very good opponent.
Or a heavyweight, Fury Joshua, some shit like that.
Yeah, but in the States,
fucking
Fury Joshua in the States isn't as big. But yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah. That shit fucker could be just engaging. That shit's gonna make money. You feel me?
Yeah, that shit's gonna make money all around the world. That's just different.
Yeah, the point I was trying to make, right, is Dana White is saying F you to boxing. And what's the fight they put on that night? Boxing, Leo Santa Cruz and Tank Davis.
Yeah, well, Dana White's been saying fuck you to boxing. Him and fucking Oscar De La Hoya's been feuding so hard that Dana White doesn't give a shit about boxing. That's his rival. Is his nemesis, boxing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Boxing don't see it as a rival. They're thinking we can put on Tank Davis and then Leo Santa Cruz, and we can compete. Nope, because I know about UFC, and even I'm interested in Khabib Gaethje. So on. So two fighters.
Yeah, well, I'm a UFC fan, and I already said, even if Gaethje and Khabib was on, I won't buy in that goddamn fight. I'm not watching it. So I wouldn't be caught dead not seeing Khabib Gaethje. Bro.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. On that night, that's the fight they put on a pay-per-view. On that night. And boxing wants to prove a superiority. No.
If I'm not mistaken, though, Brian, I'll go back and check. I think that was a white move. I think Tank and Leo was on that day first.
I know the time period. Tank and Leo was on first. Tank and Leo was scheduled first, and then Dana White was like, "Yo, hold on, let me just slide in and just destroy this shit because this shit ain't gonna do jack."
Yeah, that's how it happened, Brian. And again, I know, like, I'm not going against what you say, fam, but I just don't let any narrative slide. And you're not trying to create a narrative. I'm not saying that, Brian, but this is a potential narrative. Oh, the PBC is stupid. They're gonna put on a fight but it didn't really go down like that. It was a Dana White move. He slid in there. So I don't again, I don't care where the bashing is coming from. If it's true, then I'm gonna speak on it. If it's not, then I'm gonna shut it down because I have no horse in this race. I'm tired of all of the bullshit in boxing. So I'm not gonna discredit any organization or let anyone spit bullshit on the organization if that's not how it really took place. Dana White, this is the Dana White move. I just said it. Boxing is his rival, his nemesis. This is a Dana White move. He said, "Oh fuck that fight! I'm gonna tear that shit up." Khabib Gaethje, and he tore it up. Yeah.
I think that's the biggest fight Dana can make right now, though, isn't it?
For sure. For sure. I don't see a fight bigger than that. Maybe John Jones, Stipe
Miocic, versus Jones.
That's about it.
Unless Connor fucking comes back.
Yeah. I don't count him because he.
Yeah, Connor doesn't count. It's like Floyd. It's like Floyd.
Right. It's like
Connor
and everybody else, Floyd and everybody else, because those motherfuckers can come back and make a super fight and just boss everybody else shit, and it's like, oh damn. So I mean,
Connor could come back and fight fucking Tony Ferguson. It's gonna do 2 million pay-per-views.
He could fight Ferguson. He could get in a trilogy with Nate. He could fight Masvidal. He could fight
Connor Masvidal would fucking tear shit up, bro.
Yeah.
That would do I think that would break the record in UFC.
I believe you're right. Could very potentially. Connor's a fucking huge star, fam. He can do it. He can do it. So I don't even compare anybody to Connor right now. You know, the only person who could probably come back and somehow gauge numbers like Conor McGregor, I really believe he probably could. Yep, GSP. I think that they could maybe do something to gauge numbers like that. Maybe. Because he's a fucking massive star. But it would be hard. They would have to get the right guy, you know what I mean, and promote the hell out of it. But I think maybe he's the only one who could rival. Oh, we might break Floyd numbers. I'm serious, bro. We might be talking breaking Floyd numbers with that shit.
I don't know if it would, just because Conor himself has fought Floyd, you know, and Floyd's done more than that.
Yeah, but that fight would be so fucking huge, dude.
Beating Maypac. Think of I don't think that's really possible. Not now. Not for a while.
But I'll tell you this, that shit's breaking all UFC records for sure. I think that shit breaks all UFC records for sure. That would have been like about 4 or 5 before fucking Silva lost to Weidman. GSP Silva and GSP Silva and the Spider versus John Jones. Those 2 fights was fucking enormous before he lost to Chris Weidman. Those 2 fights were massive, but anyway,
I can't comment on it. You know that.
I want to get off of that anyway. Let's get back to boxing. So
I'm surprised I was able to pull George St. Pierre's name out of my head.
Oh, that's actually a good fucking a good point. I mean, good call, because I made the point that you knew who I was talking about. So good call. But here it is. Tank Davis, Leo Santa Cruz. Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia.
Make it happen.
I'm interested, bro, and I don't like to get hype about fights. Fabrizio, Sporadic Flowers, 819 Warriors, Shiz Biz. Appreciate y'all coming through.
Oh, quick.
Go ahead.
Real quick. Congratulations to Sporadic Flowers. Made a comment a bit ago saying, also, my baby was just born last night.
Oh, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yes, man. Congratulations, Sporadic Flowers. Gotta love the little ones, man. Yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out, Mark. So I think that I don't like to get hyped for fights because you know how it is, man. We get hyped up for a fight, we don't get it, but I'm interested. I'll just say that I'm interested. I'm interested because I do really believe Ryan will pursue the fight. And you know, these two young guys have a big social media presence, and I think it makes Tank look extremely horrible if he doesn't take this fight after Leo Santa Cruz. I think that Ryan can put enough pressure on him, and it makes him look really bad, especially after coming out saying that he will pursue the fight also. this is what makes this fight so interesting to me. And Tank is he's clearly tired of Floyd and LB shit. I'm telling you, man. I see this shit in him. In his post, because I've been reading this shit on Instagram. I've been paying attention to Tank Davis here lately because I'm kind of liking what I'm seeing from him. I have no faith in Floyd and Ellaby, but I'm kind of liking a little bit what I'm seeing from him, and I've been paying attention to him. He's getting tired of the bullshit. I'm telling you, he's getting tired of the bullshit. And I think that, you see, that you read the article. He was demanding. We ain't really heard Tank come out like that to Floyd Ellaby about what he's demanding. We ain't really never heard him come out like that. A little subtle changes. You feel me?
Let him get it.
Get it, because I want it. Like, good.
Like, good. If he's calling the names, make the fights.
Make the fights, man. Make the fights. So let's get on. Let's move on. Oh, go ahead.
I mean, look, if he's demanding Ryan Garcia, so let's say Ryan Garcia goes in there and he beats Luke Campbell, and he's demanding to fight Ryan Garcia, make it happen. Ain't a person in the boxing community who'd be against Ryan Garcia versus Tank. I'd love to see it. Well, no, I've a feeling a lot of Tank fans would probably start getting a little bit hesitant. A lot of Ryan fans will get hesitant because you know how fans are of certain fighters. They start like saying, "Yeah, I want my guy to beat this guy." Then when they're talking about the fight being made, they pull out. So, hello? Is that me or D?
Yeah, okay, came back.
Was that me or you, D?
Yeah, my damn internet on the fritz. Get ready to put this on my hotspot on my phone. But anyway,
no, I think no, D, that was me. That was me disconnecting.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
didn't know which one it was.
No, it was me. It was me.
Oh, well, you clear now.
Yeah, I'm clear now because I switched over to my data. My Wi-Fi shot all over itself somehow. So what was I talking about?
Leo Santa Cruz and Tank. I was just getting ready to get off of that. You was just clearing.
I was talking about Ryan. I was talking about Ryan, right?
I mean Leo and Tank and Ryan.
Ryan. So, ain't a fan who wouldn't want to see him, other than fans of those two guys. Because every now and then, you know what it's like. You've seen fan clubs of certain fighters and different people, whatever. They'll start talking the big one on their fighter, and then when time comes, they're like, "Nah, this fight would make more sense now. This fight's down the line. Oh no, he's on the wrong side of the tree. Oh no, we don't want unification. It's one face, one name. Oh no, you know what I mean. That shit will start coming. So, but the boxing fan will want to see that fight.
Yeah.
If Ryan beats Luke Campbell, let's get it. If Luke Campbell beats Ryan, let's get Tank versus Luke.
All right. Yeah. I mean, bro, I like to talk. I want to see him walk the walk. That's it. I love to talk, but let's do it. Let's make it happen, man. You know, because Tank's the step up fight. I want everybody to realize that too. I don't give a shit if Ryan Garcia does beat Luke Campbell. Tank's still the step up fight. Bro, he's the older guy, the more experienced guy. He has a prolific amateur record. Let's not get it twisted. That's why I always tell people, and I never really shit on Tank Davis' skill. He has a prolific amateur record. Over 250 wins. So, and with minimal losses, okay? So Tank is the step up for Ryan. And it's a great fight. This is not two prospects. Tank's no prospect. This is not two prospects fighting. So it would be a step up fight for Ryan. It would be finally a valid fight for Tank, in my opinion. It's a great fight. It's what I think That fight I would pay for. That fight I would watch. That fight I would entertain because that fight leaves me intrigued about who would win. That's what I like about boxing.
Can I say one thing about Tank's amateur record? Right?
Yeah.
Tank was a very good youth amateur. Very good youth amateur. He hasn't achieved anything at a senior amateur level. He didn't achieve anything at all. Actually, most of his losses came when he went up to that, and then he decided to turn pro. That's all I'll say on it. It's very deceiving. He has a lot of wins against not the best opposition. I'll just leave it at that. He has a lot of wins, but he hasn't fought a lot of good guys in the amateurs. I just need to say that because a lot of people say 206 wins. Yeah, but it's a poor amateur record. That's all I have. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, this is my thing. It's all a part of the illusion, fam.
Yeah.
If you think about it, they move the same illusion over to the professional level, right?
Yeah, they have.
You know, and so that's the shit that I'm trying to dig through. Because you look, I'm not upset about it, but y'all fooling so many fans. That's all you guys are doing. You're fooling so many fans. You're creating this facade. Mark just broke down the amateur, and I don't disagree because I know he's seen a lot of success early on. When he was 12, 13 years old, he was considered a phenom. This is when he's seen a lot of success on the amateur level. So,
well, I was told by someone, Tank Davis is a 2-time Youth Olympic champion, and I had to correct him. He's not. He's a 2-time National Youth Olympics. The National Youth Olympics is just the Youth American Olympics. It's essentially a qualifying tournament to go to the Youth Olympics. He won that, but he never went to the Youth Olympics.
Right.
He never went to the actual one where he's fighting against the best in other countries. And when he was winning that specific tournament, that's not the ones that like get you up to the Youth Olympics. That's the one that qualifies you for the qualifiers.
Right. I mean,
that's like the amateurs. That's the amateur.
Yeah, dog, I feel you. It's like the thing is that
let me just say something real fast.
His amateur record is inflated just like his pro record. Go ahead.
One Golden Gloves is better than that. One Golden Gloves is better than that. Show me Tank's Golden Gloves.
Yeah, man. I ain't arguing with you. Like this is the stuff that I've not fallen for. Where we have, shout out to my man El Jefe, but we got guys like that food, and it's not even just El Jefe because youth may be some of his issue, but you guys got the guys our age. Well, not our, but my age that is lost in this Tank foolery. You know what I mean? Like they fooled the public, and I've not been fooled. I like what I saw in the kid when he came out, but that's just potential. So I see the potential in a lot of guys, but I'm not going to continue to advocate or support that for bullshit with Tank Davis. It's time to show and prove.
Look, I think he's got certain attributes that he can use well, and if he were to hone his skill set properly, he'd be dangerous to a lot of guys out there, and he'd be a genuine guy. But at the same point, what I think and what I'm shown are two different things. I've seen a fighter who's capitulated in the last 3 years. Capitulated, fallen off. Not as good. I mean, I personally am under the belief that Tank who beat Pedraza beats Tank who fought Gamboa. Knocks him clean the fuck out.
Right.
That tells me he's fallen off.
Yeah.
Because you know Crawford who fought Gamboa and Crawford who fought Postol. Crawford who fought Postol beats the Crawford who fought Gamboa. He improved.
Going to the store.
Yeah. Okay. Errol Spence who fought. This is my opinion. The Errol Spence who fought Sean Porter does a better job against the Kell Brook that Errol fought against. He fought better against Sean Porter, but it was a harder night's work. I genuinely believe that. It was a harder night's work because Kel was done. You know what I mean? Kel was done.
Yeah.
Sean Porter was like, I think Sean Porter's improved a lot since he fought Kel Brook. I think Kel Brook's gotten worse because of level of opposition and then getting his eye socket fractured, you know? So
Right.
these are all different things.
I need to get me a cigar, man.
Huh?
So, yeah, I gotta go get me a cigar. So, let's we could probably get back to Tank Davis, of course, but I want to move forward to Jermell Charlo, the other side of this PBC story, because again, I started off liking both of these guys, the Charlo twins, both of them, and Tank Davis, and then as time went along, I wasn't really down with goddamn bug. I wasn't really down with the way these guys were moving, but here recently. Jermell Charlo has won me back in his good graces, and I'll tell you guys why. First and foremost, another article that I read, coincidentally talked the scene as well. Again, it was Jermell Charlo, and Jermell said that he was never shot like a lot of people was when J-Rock lost to Rosario. He said that he knew that Rosario had been stopped by Gallagher, but he still expected Rosario to beat J-Rock because he didn't see either of those guys on his level. He knew that J-Rock wasn't on his level and that he was a bit overhyped going into that fight with Jason Rosario. Now, look, on some levels, I don't know about who's better and all of that, the shit Jermell Charlo said about that, but on some levels, I felt like that J-Rock was a bit hyped too because he had beaten Jarrett Hurd. And the reason I say that is because I was never really confident in Jarrett Hurd. I felt like it was just a matter of time before he went down because, like Leo Santa Cruz, he uses his goddamn face for a punching bag. And you can't continue to do that. So what do you think, Mark, about Jermell Charlo's recent comments here?
Well, no, if that's the man's opinion, that's his opinion. If he wasn't shocked, he wasn't shocked. What am I going to do about it? I don't disagree with him. It's not that shocking. J-Rock's a classic capitulator. When he's the underdog, he rises to the occasion. When he's a favorite, he's fucking terrible. I thought he got beat up by a shot old SYSMT. He did. I thought he got beat up by Ishe. I thought he got beat up.
I did too.
So when I think of that, like, does he have a point? Yeah. Is he doing a good job in selling the pay-per-view? No. Yo, this guy ain't on my level. There's no point. Like, neither of these two are on my level. It's gonna be the same thing. Beat him up. That doesn't really sell it. Make it sound competitive. Jermell's talking now. Jermell said some things that I didn't like, but he's also said, like, yo, we're two of the best in the world. We're there to prove who the best in the world is. Like, I like what he's saying. He's recognizing Derevianchenko's a tough opposition. Don't overlook anyone. Even if Jason, I know a lot of fans are like writing Jason off, but yo, he did beat the crap out of J-Rock. He beat him black and blue, bro.
I think Tony Harrison beats both of those guys. I'm being serious. I'm being 100% serious. I believe Tony Harrison beats both of those guys. And then when Jermell Charlo
but styles make fights.
That's true. That's true. But even with their styles, I believe Tony Harrison beats both of those guys.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Tony Harrison is wrong for those guys. He's wrong for them. Stylistically, he's wrong for them.
Okay. And so with the pretty decent fight the first time, and the adjustment to Jermell coming back, what minor adjustments because he still has some issues. But with him coming back and winning his belt, and I believe that Tony Harrison firmly beats those guys, I can't blame him for feeling that way. And I honestly don't think that they're on his level either. And here's something that's interesting. Before all of this happened, before the Rosario fight was even announced, I hope you guys know that Jermell Charlo was pursuing and said that he was going to pursue a unification with J-Rock way before he got beat by Rosario even before the fight was announced. And this is why Jermell Charlo started to win me back into his good graces, because after that fight was announced, Jermell Charlo came out and he said, well, it's okay. I want to fight her. I want to fight Lara. He started calling out the good names. Now he finds himself in a fight with the winner for unification. So he's willing to go unify. No, I'm all with Jermell Charlo. And Chopstick says, I only like Jermall. Well, I hope you only like Jermall based on the fact that he has more power. Because outside of that, I don't see anything there is to like Jermall over Jermell. I think Jermell's a better boxer than Jermall. I think Jermell's on a better path than Jermall. And I do not like Jermall. I don't advocate for Jermall, but I do for Jermell. That's how I feel about those things, man.
Controversial opinion. I think Jermell hits harder than Jermall.
Well, maybe. Could be, maybe. I'm not sure. But I damn sure think that he boxes better than Jermall. Thanks, fam. You know what I mean? So, and I like what he's doing moreover than Jermall. Jermell Charlo, Chopstick, you explain this to me, fam. How the fuck do you like, respect, or even accept the fact that he turned $7 to $10 million down to fucking unify, fam? How do you accept that? I just want you to put that answer that in the chat. Click the link or whatever if you want me to put it back in. Oh shit, I got two guests behind stage. Oh, that's me and Mark. Anyway, yeah, it just looks funny on the phone. But yeah, bro, I can't get down with that, bro. I really can't, because there was no reason for him to turn that fight down. And I was really done with him after that. Like, and then Eddie Hearn even increased it and said that he would go as high as 10 million. And the motherfucker still didn't entertain it. Like, bro, hell no. I don't want no parts of Jermall. How do you accept that, Chopstick? How do you bring yourself as a boxing fan to accept that type of foolery? Please help me out with that. Do you think he should have taken that?
Yeah,
you there, man?
Of course I do.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's nothing. It's nothing that they can say. It's nothing that PBC can say to me. Nothing Jermell Charlo or his team can say to me that rationalize or justifies him not accepting that fight. More or less, why the fuck is he not pursuing that fight? Forget about accepting it. That's unification. Why is that not on your list?
Yeah.
Huh? Like, that's the real.
Yeah. Why isn't it?
Why isn't it on your list? And I'm going to support Jermell Charlo. You got me all kind of fucked up. Jermell Charlo, you idiot. That's what I got to say about Jermell Charlo. But back to Jermell, and like I was saying about the J-Rock situation, Jermell Charlo challenged J-Rock prior to the Rosario fight being announced and all of that. That was what he was pursuing, unification, which is why I'm shitting on his brother right now, because your brother is pursuing unification and you're pursuing Dennis Hogan and Derevyanchenko. Oh, no. Better yet, let me rephrase. Your brother's pursuing unification while you were pursuing Brandon Adams, Dennis Hogan, and Derevyanchenko. Hold on, guys. Let me cut this off. Yeah, man. So I can't even really go along with that, man. All right, let me see. Chopstick said, it's a personal thing, D. I feel when I box my style, it's like Big Charlo. Okay. Well, you're a fighter, so if it's something that has to concern with that, fine. But you still can't tell me that you justify the moves he making. I know you can't back that shit, Chopstick. As far as understanding his skill set, I can't really argue with that because I know what happens in the ring, but I would never challenge a guy that's competing in the sport, considering what I know versus what he knows what's going on in the ring, because he's competing in that sport. Like, I'm not an idiot. I wouldn't do that. So if you see something in Charlo and you're correlating that to the sweet science because you're participating in that sport, I wouldn't argue with you on that. But you cannot say to me that you're supporting or advocating the way he's moving, because there's no excuse for not pursuing. Again, forget about accepting an offer. It's no excuse for not pursuing Demetrius Andre fight. Jermell Charlo and his fucking fans want to say that my guy Canelo is ducking him. Well, Canelo, the zone, and fucking the business sense of it says that Jermell Charlo and Demetrius Andre need to do something with them fucking selves, like unify. Then the winner makes that very, 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 very worth getting in the ring with Canelo because he's under contract and they got to pay a lot of money. So the guy standing across that ring from him has to bring the interest so that they can make that money. And Jermell Charlo, you and that worthless ass Andre alone right now, you're not really that guy. But if you unify, then the winner be that guy. So get your goofy ass in the ring and unify. That's what I'm talking about. So back to Jermell Charlo and his situation in the PBC story. So now Jermell Charlo finds himself in a fight with Jason Rosario for unification. Now, I picked Jermell Charlo in this fight, hands down. I think he stops him. I'm trying to decide for betting purposes, Mark, whether I'm going to go that 3-5 or that 5-7. 7 for betting purposes. For prediction league purposes, I'm going to say he stops him in 7. Okay. I don't really see anything less because Jason Rosario, he did look impressive against J-Rock, but that was J-Rock. J-Rock, who doesn't have a chin. He doesn't have a chin, guys. I hope you guys know J-Rock doesn't have a chin. So a guy like Rosario that's aggressive, that has a decent amount of pop, punching a guy repeatedly like that doesn't have a chin, you're going to see what you see or what you witness. That's what you're going to see. A guy like Rosario punching wildly, sometimes out of control like that, with a guy who has faster hands, good timing, say a Jermell Charlo, you're going to get your ass whooped and slapped. That's what's going to happen in this fight. So I don't know what people see going into this fight. I don't know where you guys gauge Rosario's chances, but I would personally say maybe 70-30 at best. But that dude's getting stopped. And after that fight, Jermell Charlo, why he's in my good graces, said he wanted to fight Lara anyway because he's been wanting to fight this guy, right? And if he couldn't get Lara, he wants to get her because they have unfinished business. Now, the reason I brought Erislandy Lara up and what makes this so interesting is that Erislandy Lara said after his win versus Vendetti, he wants to pursue Jermell Charlo. What the hell? What the hell? This may be a fight. This may be a unification title defense. And I say it's excellent for Jermell Charlo. I like it. I like the path he's on. And if this is going to be a unification title defense, should you get through Jason Rosario, Jermell is back in my good graces. What do you think about that unravel?
What, Charlo versus Lara?
Should he get through this unification? First unification title defense, Erislandy Lara.
I'd rather see him fight the winner of Teixeira Castaño.
Okay. Hold on. Let's not go down that route because I want to consistently give this guy praise because he's been doing better. What I'm saying is, coming off of a fight, 2 fights, well, coming off of a fight with Tony Harrison, coming off of a unification match with Rosario, first title defense with an Erislandy Lara, totally acceptable. Yes, I would like to see him fight other guys, but I want to keep this in the zone of giving him praise because I see absolutely nothing wrong with that fight, and I think it's good, and I want to praise him for it. Yeah, I would like to see him fight other guys too, but let's give him praise for that because fighters are not doing that these days. They're not coming off of a fight a championship fight, getting your belt back, going to a unification fight right after that. Yeah, he could fight a better opponent, but come on now. Is this what's going on in boxing? And I think Erislandy Lara is a very valid opponent for a title defense. I want to continue to praise up Jermell Charlo, but I do agree with you. I would love to see that fight as well. But what about the Erislandy Lara fight? I think that's an acceptable and good situation.
Let me ask you a question. You want me to praise him?
No. I was just saying, like, what do you think about him taking that fight? I mean, your answer to my question was, what do you think about this fight and what it means and if it's acceptable? And your answer was, I would rather see him fight. So I'm like, okay, I get that. And I would like to see him fight him too. But to get back to the question, what do you think about that situation? Because I don't want to take the focus off of that he's taking a valid fight, that he's defending well, the rest that goes along with that, and just kind of, well, I would rather see him fight. So I'm not saying you have to praise him, but what do you see it concerning? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm fine with him fighting Lara. Who wouldn't be? Lara's one of the top 7 guys in the division. I mean, it depends how you rank it. I mean, he's one of the best guys. He's getting a bit older now, but yeah, I'm fine with it. It's acceptable. It's more than acceptable.
Right. Yeah. For sure, my man Billy Brisbane in the building. Appreciate you coming through. You already know, buddy. 9:00 game. Basketball Live with Lewis and D. Let's get it. I will be there tonight. Hope to see you there, fam. Thank you for asking. Well, yeah, Mark, for sure. And again, this is just why Jermell is in my, because fuck it. Let's think about it. Jerry Hurd, Erislandy Lara, your guy. If he takes any of those fights after going undisputed, I'm not crying, bro. This is what we want to see. Any of those fights after going undisputed. I mean, not undisputed, but unified. After coming off of a Harrison fight, I'm cool with all 3 of those fights. Any one of them.
Yeah, I'm cool.
And it's totally outside of what I see going on with his brother or Stank Davis right now. And totally outside of that foolishness. So this is the PBC story, fam. It's almost like what was that? Cain and Abel. One guy and the other guy wants fuck him. You know what I mean? Because Tank Davis is like, bro, I really need. I'm not convinced. I want them to prove. Like, he's saying Ryan Garcia, but if you guys are saying Ryan, and Ryan is definitely saying you, and there's a good chance he will pursue it, that's a fight that should be happening next. When Charlo comes concerned, shit, I'll take either one of his 3 fights. Any one of them. Any one of those guys on his list after, should he get through Rosario, which I think he's getting through Rosario, bro. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you guys something. I don't know if it's going to happen as early, but I got him clipping Rosario, putting him away, just like he did Erickson Lubin. Finding that clean, flush shot. Because Rosario's wild, especially on the inside. I heard people go, but he fights well on the inside. No, the fuck he doesn't. Go back and look at the film. Yeah, he lands punches on the inside, but he doesn't fight well on the inside. He's off balance. He loops shots a lot. He misses shots. Fucking tell me that Rosario fights good on the inside. That's not what I see. Not even a little bit. And he doesn't. He's much slower than Jermell Charlo, which is dangerous. Because Jermell Charlo is not just fast, he hits hard. So Rosario's slower than him. He's not as accurate as him. He loops shots. And that dude is waiting to be knocked the fuck out by Jermell Charlo. Just waiting to be.
Well, maybe he is, maybe he isn't. We'll find out on fight night. I mean, who knows? The one thing is that we do know is that was Rosario's first ever proper training camp. We do know that. And that can play a difference in a fighter. We've seen it happen in the past a lot. If that's how he fights now, that's not going to be that easy. Like, if he fights to the level he fought against J-Rock, it's not going to be a walkover. I'd favor Jermell, but it's not going to be a walkover. That's just being genuine.
Okay. I mean, I can accept that, but I'll tell you like this. Man, that looked funny. It looked like I'm resting my arm or nothing. But I'll tell you this, bro. Uh, it does, right? It just look like I'm resting my arm in the air and shit. It's on the back of the chair.
Oh shit. Okay.
That's cool as shit. Yeah, it's a magic show, guy. But nah,
Yo,
man.
D.
Yeah.
Man, you know what you should do? You should like get a deck of cards, right? And you should put it right on the top of that chair there, yeah? Just so it's like levitating. And then you just start pulling it through you pull it along the chair every once in a while, and then you just leave it standing there.
Yeah, man.
People would think you're elevating cards, Brad. Like, do it with a pen. Get anything on that shit. That looks sick.
I just forgot my thought now, too. I just forgot.
Tell me that wouldn't look sick, though, bro. Like, every 2 minutes, you just start dragging a pen along the chair, and then you just let it go, and it's just levitating, and you're like, yeah. They call me Houdini. You get me?
The new David Blaine on this motherfucker.
Fuck David Blaine, man.
Okay, Chris Angel.
Oh, fuck him, too. Terrible magician.
Oh, my God, Mark. I know nothing about the world of illusion, and I think they're spectacular. So.
Well, I know quite a bit about it, and I can't stand them.
All right. All right. Hey, man, you got to know what you know. You know, like they say, a magician never tells his secrets. But if you know his secrets, he's not so special to you. You know what I'm saying?
Chris Angel's camera angles, that's all he is.
Yeah, I've heard that. And everybody that he comes up on are actors and all of this shit, you know. And then all the celebrities are in on the gig and all of that. You know, I've heard all of it, but I don't know, man. Maybe not. And just the thing with the actors is, and where I don't know why people get fooled. They're fucking actors. You watch Jamie Foxx on Ray Charles, and you say it's one of the greatest performances you've ever seen. So when he gets up in front of Chris Angel and acts surprised, fall for that shit. He's a great actor. Don't you know that? You know what I'm saying? So it's validity to it. You know what I mean? Like, okay, they could be in on it because he's an actor. It's all entertainment. It's about making money. So if they pay him a couple of bucks to act surprised, he can fool you because guess what? He's a good actor. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, man. But yeah, man, I just want to talk about these Charlo twins, Tank Davis. I hope we get. I think it'll be a great fight at 135 because Ryan ain't going down to no 130, but I think it'll be a great fight. Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia next. And Tank, like I said, the three names, because I'm going to flame the fuck out of Tank. I don't care about the Floyd and Ellaby situation. After this Devin Haney situation, I don't want to hear anything about Tank with anybody else but Lomachenko, Devin Haney, or Ryan Garcia.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm holding them to that. I don't want to see any. I don't want to hear anything else. Yeah. Oh, one fight that I would like to hear, which wouldn't happen because Teofimo's moving up to 140 after Lomachenko, but I would accept that fight. But he ain't getting in there with no fucking Teofimo. But hell, I would even accept one fight. I would accept him meeting Shakur Stevenson at 130. I would accept that. I would accept that over Burchell and Jermell Herring. I sure would. Because that's a talented kid. And I think he has all the tools to confuse the fuck out of Tank Davis. Could he hold up to get hit by Tank is the question. But I think that Shakur Stevenson, man, I think he'll confuse the fuck out of Tank Davis. What do you think about that fight, Mark? I know Tank has the advantage because of size, and it's early for Shakur, but just what I see in him, what I see him do, like, forget about the level of opponents he fought, because Tank ain't really fought the greatest level of competition either. What do you think about that one?
I mean, he's going to cause some issues with his range, his ability to move, his feinting, etc. I mean, on the flip side, Tank could land some crazy fucking shit on him and take his head off his neck. He's very young. He doesn't have man strength, doesn't have the punch power yet. I mean, these are all the weaknesses. You know what I mean? if I'm not allowed to go off of based off level of opposition or anything like that, seeing what Tank was able to do with a long boxer like Pedraza and steamroll him. I mean, if I'm not allowed to talk about that stuff, then yeah, sure, Shakur can beat him.
Well, Pedraza is valid. No, I'll give you Pedraza. I'm just not impressed with Tank's resume. If Pedraza, you bring him into the mix, especially because of his dimensions. No, that's valid.
Well, it was a half a decade ago, nearly.
Yeah. And that's what I would have came back with, but even still, I would have said that. And okay, I'll give you Pedraza, but what has he done since then? That's exactly what I would have said. You knew it. That's why you said that shit. you know how I think, dog. Like, okay, so yeah, that's valid. Now, what has he done since then? And so I will be right back to square one.
Not a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Not a lot at all. Nunez, was that the test?
Yeah.
Did Nunez test him?
Shout out to Nunez.
Oh boy, Tank Davis, man. But yeah, he's got and then how beneficial would it be? You calling out Devin Haney, call him Cloud or what? But if he's Cloud, he has a fake belt. Well, good. Go get it and make something of the 135-pound WBC champion. Now you'll have that belt, a valid belt, more valid than that crap you're holding now, and make something of it. So he could be the Clout or whatever, but go fight him. Go take it from him. You know what I mean? Go take it. That's plenty of reason. Like, it's no reason that Ellaby and Floyd can give for Tank not becoming a WBC champion. How can you not turn? What reason can they give us for not making that fight? Be a fucking champion. No reason. No excuse. No nothing. He's the prospect. Tank, you called him a bum. He's not on your level. He's clout chasing. So you totally disrespecting him. Basically, it's an easy win to go collect the belt. Go fucking collect it. That's how I look at that shit. Go collect the goddamn belt, you know?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, man. So, hey, let me get to the chat, man. Let me get to the chat. Let's see what you guys talking about right quick. I know Mark probably been paying attention. Dragon Leg, what's up? He said, I want to see Tony Harrison fight again. I wouldn't mind seeing him giving Tony Harrison another crack at it. Tony Harrison was winning more rounds, in my opinion. They didn't have it like that by the cars, but fuck the cars. That just says to me they was willing to rob Tony Harrison, to be honest. But by my cards, I actually had Tony slightly ahead. So yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that. I believe that Jermell stops him again. I do think that. And I think he probably stops him a little more efficiently this time. Also, what I saw in that fight is Tony can't really hurt Jermell. I don't think he can really hurt Jermell. Tony's got pretty good pop with him, but I don't think he can hurt Jermell. And when a fighter gets that indication in their head that, you know, he's still got to watch himself, but this guy don't really have enough to hurt me, I think that third fight don't go so well for Tony Harrison. But I wouldn't mind him giving Tony Harrison another shot at it because he beat you the first time. Legitimately, he beat you. Your fans can cry that it was a robbery, but it was no robbery. Tony Harrison beat you the first time. You did what you were supposed to do the second time. So that's a valid rematch. What you think about that, Mark?
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough, man. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Like, I'm cool with it. Like, I'll tell you a fight that, look, can I tell you a fight I would love to see? Really, really, really love to see. Just because nobody's talking about it. I'd love to see Tony Harrison versus Lara.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be good, Mark.
That's a boxing match from heaven.
That's good.
I don't think people realize just how good of a boxing match that is.
I
That's a
never really
perfect
thought of
boxing
that.
match.
I never thought of that because regardless of what people think, and I was getting ready to spit, and this kind of, so I'll clear all of this up. This comment with 819 Warrior, and basically what Mark was just talking about. 819 Warrior, let me tell you something. I don't believe that Tony Harrison's punching power was the issue. Is the issue. It's his chin, fam. It's not his punching power. He is not only a hell of a boxer, in my opinion, he is a very underrated boxer, in my opinion. He has decent pop. The dude don't have a chin, man. And when you don't have a chin, you have to fight in a certain way to protect that chin from getting smacked, right? And Tony Harrison is actually a good enough boxer to do that, right? he didn't get it off against Jermell Charlo. But let's think about what Mark is saying, just concerning me answering that. It's Erislandy Lara is not the biggest puncher. He is also a phenomenal boxer. So now you got a guy that's not the biggest puncher against a guy that doesn't have the greatest chin, but that kind of evens out. So now you just have a test match. Excellent fucking fight, in my opinion. Excellent fucking fight. But I hope that answers or gives some kind of insight to your comment too, 819 Warrior. I don't really believe his punching power was the issue. What do you think, Mark? Am I off on that? What you think about that?
For me, Tony Harrison's biggest issue is actually more of a mental thing where he starts getting confident and overdoing certain things. And when he starts to do that, he gasses. I think his chin's actually solid. I just think when his energy goes, he can be taken out. I've actually never seen him unconscious. I've seen him on the ground tired, being unable to get up. Not actually seen him unconscious.
Yeah.
People know.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I think it's a gassing issue. I think it's a gassing issue.
I think it's, but then with you, that's a fair point. But I would still lean on saying it's a combination, man. That chin is a little loose. That chin ain't. I mean, I've seen him get into trouble with shots that I don't think, if he had a decent chin, should necessarily put him in trouble. You understand what I'm saying? That's why I think it's I agree with you on the gassing issue, because he had that issue in this last fight. So I definitely agree with that. I just kind of would now say that it's a combination of both. What I don't believe, though, is that it's his punching power. I don't believe that was the issue. Or that's the issue with Tony Harrison. So, fair point on the stamina and endurance. Definitely a fair point. Bieber Romero says Austin Trout even said Jermell was the most explosive he's ever fought. Yeah, Jermell's just like Mark said, Jermell's ahead of Jermall. The power questionable, I'm not sure. But Jermell's shown better power. Of course, Charlo's at 160. Jermell's at 154, but even still, I think Jermell's shown better power. Which is why I really argue Mark's point. All right. We don't know until they move up and transition in weight and all of that. But at their respective weights, I could really agree with what Mark's saying on that. Let me see. Toby Barley, what's up with your fam? Chopstick says it's a personal thought. Okay, I got past that one. Just trying to catch up with you guys, man. Zarro's 2 times in the building. What's up, Zarro's? Say big up, D. Did you hear the crazy news that just dropped? Uh-oh. Crazy news. Let's talk about it. For the love of sports, let's talk about it. What crazy news, Zarro's? You know what he's talking about, Mark? He just said crazy news that just dropped. There's always
it could be anything, couldn't it? It could be anything. It depends what he considers to be crazy news.
Crazy news. That's why I'm like, what crazy news, man? There's always something that could be considered crazy news in boxing. Brian, he said WBA Super doesn't have a Mando, but regular does. Is that right, Mark?
Huh?
I don't know the political side of that. He says the WBA Super doesn't have the Mando, but the regular does.
Correct and incorrect. The super champion has to fulfill the obligations if the regular can't do it. Exhibit A would be Anthony Joshua fighting his mandatory opponent as the super champion against Alexander Povetkin. It was meant to be Povetkin versus Manuel Char. Okay, so what happened with that was Manuel Char had the cocaine test. Then the B sample was opened without a member of his team there, so he wasn't able to fight, but he kind of was. So he wasn't able to fulfill his obligation. So Joshua had to fill in and take on the mandatory. The WBA regular had just lost a fight with Rocky Fielding or something like that. So with Canelo or whatever. So Callum Smith had to defend the super status because Canelo was he vacated the regular, so John Ryder got a shot at Callum Smith instead. So sometimes the super champion does have a mandatory, but for most purposes, no. It's only if the regular champion can't actually adhere to it. The purpose of this is supposed to be so the super champion is available for unifications at all time. There you go.
There you go. Great breakdown. Learn something every day. So yeah, guys, I ain't gonna drag this one out. I got some work to do. Got a basketball game tonight. I got the prediction show in a little bit. So give me some closing thoughts, Mark.
Yeah, appreciate you having me on, man. As always. Yeah, Jermell Charlo is the better of the two Charlos, in my opinion. I just want to say that. Shout out to my man Leo Santa Cruz and Tank Davis. Shout out to both of them. I wish them nothing but the best in possibly breaking the record of Terence Crawford versus Victor Postol for pay-per-view, boys. I wish them the best of luck in achieving that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for having me on, man. Take care. Have a good one. I'm gonna eat some food.
Yeah, me too. Appreciate you for coming through, Mark. You know, you're always welcome, fam. All right, guys. So, you know, I'll just say this to close out. Tank Davis, you know, I really feel like there's some changes coming in Tank Davis, but within Tank Davis, Floyd and Ellaby, we're not gonna even depend on or think about them changing their ways. But I do think that some changes are taking place in Tank Davis. And ultimately, guys, at the end of the day, if the fighter wants to fight, if the fighter really wants to pursue something, that will happen. It will be made. And so if Tank Davis is really trying to pursue this new path and he really wants to fight these guys, well, the other side is already willing. So these fights will be made. Devin Haney's already willing. Ryan Garcia is already willing. So these fights will be made. When it comes to Jermell Charlo, my man, Jermell Charlo, my man, I'm all for Jermell Charlo. So in this PBC story, these guys are going separate ways. They started off on the same path, hanging around Charlo's Tank, Rona, but different path, different situation. And I'm all for Jermell. And the question mark is still there for Tank. Should he be victorious in this fight with Leo Santa Cruz and pursue Ryan Garcia? And should he start to go along this path? I won't keep condemning Tank Davis because he'll do what we've been asking him to do. I might even get back to the point where I will support Tank Davis should he continue that path. And that's what I wanted to end that with. Appreciate all you guys coming to chill, hang out with me. And y'all know how I always end this thing. For the love of sports, let's talk about it. Peace.